We often talk about the things we do inherit as next gens. We can also inherit things that maybe we choose not to carry forward. Making a decision to come in, it was very deliberate, felt and still feels very bold because it's redefining what entrepreneurialism and what being an entrepreneur looks like. I'm the first person in my family to speak publicly about what it's like growing up in a successful family. Next gens need to talk more about legacy. We need to talk about identity.
Hey there, and welcome to your Next Gen Friend, a successor's guide to business transition, a podcast for figuring out what's next in or beyond your family business. I'm Andrea Carpenter, transition strategist and second gen. Around here, we talk about the real stuff, family dynamics, identity, leadership, wealth, and how to define success on your own terms. Here's to finding your own way forward. I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, hey, friends. Today is a solo episode, and I recently added 3 questions that I ask every guest on the end of the podcast. I'm a big questions girl. I don't know if you know that about me. I love the power of a reflective question as a way to help us really think and dig a little bit deeper. And so I came up with these 3. There's a framework that I was taught in a group that I'm a part of called Exchange, which is about structuring questions in a past, present, future. And so a little bit of a peek behind the curtain, I actually designed these 3 questions to be a past, present, future format. One to help us look back at the things in our history that kind of shaped who we are. One to ground us in the present, and one to help us look ahead. So these really are questions about looking back and sorry, Angie, cut that out. These are really questions about identity, legacy, and becoming. And today I wanted to give you my answers for each of them. And so the first question, let's just jump right into it. What have I chosen not to inherit? And so we often talk about the things we do inherit as next gens. I started working in the business. I had an opportunity to do this thing. My parents gave me these values. I had an opportunity to do this because of my family. So we can recognize that privilege. We can recognize those things that we receive when we do inherit. We can also inherit things that maybe we choose not to carry forward. And so that's what I really wanted to dig into with this question. So my answer to this question, what I've chosen not to inherit, is really the belief that hard work or being successful has to mean working long hours, being exhausted. I think there's a way to work really hard and to be really strategic, but to not feel like you have to trade time with family. And I want to get rid of that idea that I have to trade my time for money. I'm so proud of my dad and what I watched him build, but there were a lot of times I have a core memory from when I was little of Mickey Mouse calling me because my dad had to travel to Orlando a lot. And so Mickey Mouse always gave me a call. And these are such sweet memories. And I'm so grateful that my dad was able to contribute for our family in this way. But when I think about my daughter and what I want to do for her and for our family growing up, I don't want any business or venture that I'm doing. I don't want the business success to be because I sacrifice time with my family. So I'm really working on an intentional design. How do I spend my time with intention and leverage things wherever possible? And so that's a gift, right? That my situation has now afforded me. How can I leverage my resources to help me do this in a better, smarter way? So how can I provide the most value in the smartest amount of time? And really, how do I structure my life to have a balance across all of the areas? So each quarter, I actually do a life happiness index where I check in on different gardens of my life, really that has been super impacted by GoBundance Women, which is a group that I'm a part of, having a more abundant mindset. I've learned so much from that group and those people that there is a way to balance. I mean, there's always give and take in any different season, but you need to be checking in on the things that are important to you to make sure that you are prioritizing them. So that was something I chose not to inherit. I do not have to always trade my time for money. There's ways for me to be a little bit smarter. Okay, so question number 2, the present question. This one is, what's a part of my story that I'm learning to honor right now? And I am still learning to honor that I didn't go down the path that I thought I was going to go down. I always had this belief because what I saw my dad do was build this enterprise that he ultimately made an exit from. And in my mind, that was success, right? That something had to be built completely from scratch for it to count. Otherwise, it was a less than approach. And so I am really learning to honor who I am as a person. I think I've talked about here before my IMAP assessment, which is a personality assessment that we use with all of our clients at the Transition Strategist. It really shows that I am a refiner. And so I love to come in and look at something that's existing and make it better. And it explained to me, right, why trying to do something on my own felt really heavy. And so making a decision to come in, it was very deliberate. It felt and still feels very bold because it's redefining what entrepreneurialism and what being an entrepreneur looks like for me. And so I had to let go of that idea that everything had to be built from scratch, that joining someone else's business was made me a less than or less entrepreneurial type of person. And I'm still working almost every week on honoring that to make sure that what I'm doing is a good use of my time and that I always love it. So that is what I'm learning to honor. And in one word, what am I the first of in my family? And my word is public. And that feels really powerful and vulnerable. And so a little bit of backstory here. I'm the first person in my family to speak publicly about what it's like growing up in a successful family. I believe in the power of storytelling. That's why I started this podcast and this project and a lot of the work that I'm trying to do with Next Gens, because I think we as Next Gens need to talk more about legacy. We need to talk about identity. We need to talk about those things that are hard to say out loud. Obviously, you need to say them in safe spaces, but it doesn't make you less than just because your parents or your family or your great-grandparents or whatever that looks like was successful. And so we need spaces where we can talk about this. However, it's really scary. For me, I'm not a notable person by any means. I just have an experience that I can relate. Sharing these stories also means that colleagues, people I went to college with, friends from growing up, potential clients, peers, even my extended family that maybe don't even know the depth of what our family has been through, what my dad's exit looked like, are going to see these recordings and potentially, hear them, listen to them, engage with them. And that is very vulnerable. And I play a role in protecting my family too. They're not just my stories. They're the stories of my sister and my mom. And my daughter and my husband. And so I choose to do this. I choose to be public because it feels right. I know I feel that it's what I'm called to do and the type of people that I'm supposed to help. It doesn't mean that I'm putting myself in the spotlight. I hope it means that I can lead with the truth and invite other people like you into conversation about these things. But sometimes it feels very heavy and certainly feels vulnerable a lot of the time. Okay, so there you go. Those are my answers to the 3 questions that I'll end every episode with. What have you chosen not to inherit? What's a part of your story that you're learning to honor right now? And in one word, what are you the first of in your family? Okay, thanks for listening in to this short episode. I just wanted to make sure that you knew my answers and the reason I do all of this before we jump in to the future episodes. And I'm so excited for some of the upcoming guests who are coming onto the podcast. Again, reminder, this really is just a space to showcase all the different ways that rising gens, next gens, people working in family businesses show up. Everyone's experience is so different. Every family is so different. Every industry is so different. And yet there's a lot of commonalities and things are the same. So know that you are not alone. I'm here and happy to support you in this space. If you like the episode, hey, it would be such a gift to me if you left it a 5-star review so that other people can find this podcast as well. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram or LinkedIn and shoot me a DM if you want to start a conversation. I'm here and so happy to support you. All right, friends, have a great rest of your week and we'll talk again soon.
That's it for today. I hope today's episode offered some clarity or at least a little company. If this resonated, I'd be so grateful if you'd share it with another next gen. While my podcast is for the successors, you can also check out its sister show, The Business Transition Roadmap, hosted by my business partner, Elizabeth Ledoux. There's lots of great material in business and family succession over there. I hope you'll take a listen. Be well and see you next time.